the government is set to launch a performance tracker. And the story here on citynewsroom.com says, government is set to introduce a performance tracker, a tool aimed at ensuring transparency and accountability in the execution of infrastructure projects across the country. Now, President Akufo-Addo, who made this known during the State of the Nation's address in Parliament on Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, said the tracker will be launched in March this year. He said the tracker will help address long-standing concerns about the accuracy and reliability of project presentations, particularly the use of artist impressions to depict outcomes. Speaking about the initiative, the president emphasized the need to uphold standards and deliver tangible results to the people. He stressed that the tracker would serve as a reliable mechanism for showcasing the progress and impact of infrastructure projects, thereby instilling trust and confidence among its citizens. So, Prof, this is something that the president is saying that they're going to introduce, and they're introducing it next month. Do you think it's going to make any difference to what they've been doing for the last 7 years? And then also, why at this stage? Because it's like at the end of it all, we are now introducing a tracker. You know, when we've been doing projects every year, multiple projects.
Well, for me, I don't even see the need for us to describe or to discuss issue about tracker, because developing a tracker or launching a tracker to show us project does not put food on our table.
But
it does not give
employment
wastage to the youth out there. It does not change the reality in our pocket. It doesn't change the hardship in the country under this president or this regime. It does not change the fact that the dollar today is at 13 Ghana cedis. When they took it from 4 Ghana cedis, it doesn't change that. So to tell us about the fact that you are coming to launch a tracker, it does not stop corruption that we are watching or witnessing under this regime. It does not change the wastage.
But I thought the idea of the performance tracker is to introduce transparency and accountability,
it does
which will stop corruption.
It does not change the massive looting that we are witnessing under this regime. It doesn't change it. These are the reality, and these are the things that are confronting Ghanaians. So for you to bring that, yes, we are bringing a tracker to tell us what project do they have to show?
It will stem the tide of...
The amount of money they borrowed. What do they have to show us that we need to come and sit here to discuss about a tracker? When unemployment, they told us that one D1F, one constituency, $1 million. They told us about what? Planting for food and jobs. And we are witnessing an increase in unemployment from 8.4% when they took over power to now 14.7%. I mean, these are things we need to talk about. Tracker does not change these statistics. And I wouldn't spend time to talk about the fact that the president wants to launch a tracker to tell us where projects are. That is not what Ghanaians or the ordinary Ghanaian want to hear.
Fair enough.
Ordinary Ghanaian want to hear measures that the government is putting in place to make sure that we bring down inflation, to bring down food inflation, to make sure that we are able to feed our family. That is what we want to hear from the president.
All right. So then we don't have to, I'll move on from you. The president is introducing this concept of the tracker to monitor projects and all of that. I'm just curious about something. What happened to the Ministry of Monitoring and Evaluation, and what work could they not have done that this tracker is going to bring? That's more.
So the Ministry of Evaluation was
monitoring and evaluation
after the 2020 elections. That ministry was collapsed, and I believe, I am not too sure about it, but I think they were put under the Ministry of Information. I believe so. Or under the Office of the Vice President. Okay. I would have to check it. But that ministry, if you remember, it was one of the ministries that the President took away. And this tracker, as let me say, it's a continuous process. If you remember, in the first term, another app was launched that was supposed to trace projects and where they were. And so this, I believe they pulled it down because we had a few issues with it. And then they decided to put an improvement on it. You were asking why at this time, a year to election, because this is the time that after 7 years, the President and the government would need to tell us that the government or Ghana that we give to you to take care of, what have you done? And one of the easiest way of doing that is to make sure that any ordinary Ghanaian sitting somewhere, including yourself, myself, we download the app, just like we're having a conversation here. Assuming I come and I tell you that, look, the NPP promised that we're going to build, excuse me, a hospital in Wenchi, whatever, in the Bono region. We're going to build, I'll talk about Wenchi because that's my constituency. We're going to build a chips compound, we're going to build a 6-classroom block, and then there's an argument here. And usually, when these things are going to be done, if you remember, when they're going to cut the sod, there's this artistic impressions of how the building should look like. And we have had a history in this country where a certain political party issued a book, a manifesto, that had artistic impressions of projects that they said they had done. And then I haven't mentioned any name, please. Okay. I can refer to it when I get there. And then we take over, we come into power, and the things that they said is in the book is not there. Okay. It hasn't been done. Okay. And then it turns into an argument. So we want to take away that argument. If the government says that I have constructed this road, Techimantia to whatever road, you go on the app, you type in, and you're going to have pictures of it. You're going to have locations, the direct location. You can send 1 or 2 of your correspondents in the region. Go check
if it's there.
If it's there. These are the sort of things you do when you are digitalizing your whole nation. True. So that people will not lie. So that if the government says that I have, and they usually, on that tracker, at least the little I've seen of it, they have percentages. Completion levels. So some 100% complete. You said on your tracker that it is 100% complete. When we went there, it is not. There's even the stones, we haven't even put in the foundation. Then whoever is responsible will have to explain. This is a way that the citizens can hold government responsible for the things that you say you will do. So if the president says we are going to launch it in March, well, I have seen the prototype of it, and I believe it is going to even help most of us who come out here and come and communicate to the ordinary Ghanaian, and with all of you, the media, that we say we have done this, we have done this, we have done this. You are able to show it. Remember, we are coming from a society and a place where people actually do take monies for contracts, and they don't do it. They don't execute it. They go and take what we call mobilization fees, and they vanish. So these are all an attempt to curb corruption and make sure that what is said has actually been done.
I'll come back to you for you to wrap up your thoughts on this. And we're having conversations here about the various things that the president said in the State of the Nation's address yesterday. Now, before we went for the break, Ama Daaku, who is with the NPP, was making a submission. I want her to wrap up for me. All right.
Well, the wrap-up is that this tracker, I believe we should all welcome it. When it is launched, every one of us, every citizen, now all of us have our Android phones, we have our, is it iOS phones, the Apple phones and all that. You can quickly go on Play Store, you can go on Apple Store, download it, and make sure that you do hold government accountable. The NPP government is a government that is not afraid of being accountable to the people. We always put ourselves out there and allow the people to ask questions. And this is one of the ways that any ordinary Ghanaian who is very determined, and because it is district specific, you can actually find out what exactly is happening in your own district and in your constituency. And I believe this is one of the things that will push a lot of people to be more interested in governance. Because a lot of things are going on that people actually have no idea of. So if you are in whichever constituency, whichever district, all this information that will be on it information that was given to the Ministry of Information and the project people by the DCs and the MCs. So the people who are down there and are actually executing this work are the ones who give it. I believe that it's one of the brilliant ideas that we can have, and we should all welcome it and hold government accountable for the monies that we give them to do things that they have to do.
Okay. Speaking of holding governments accountable, I'm just curious, why do you think, unless it was an oversight, but why do you think the conversation about unemployment was quite ominously omitted?
Well, just about 2 days ago, is it the Ghana, or last week, the Ghana Statistical Service, one of the state agencies brought out a whole list of things or the issues that are going on with our employment sector. And I believe that is the government mandated areas that had to talk about. The president did not omit talking about employment issues. He did talk about the state of the 1D1F and the number of jobs that it had given to people. I believe he mentioned that there were 170,000 jobs have been given by the 200 and something factories that have been built. He gave details about the number of factories that are actually what do you call it, that are actually working, and those that are still not working because of issues of tax exemptions that has to go through Parliament and has to be passed for them. And so if you say that he avoided the issue of unemployment, I don't think so. He actually gave us details. We all know the unemployment situation in this country. And sometimes I find it funny when you get somebody like the opposition, is it the minority leader in Parliament, of all the things that the president said, his problem was the fact that he didn't give unemployment figures. When you can easily Google and find out the current unemployment figures in Ghana, the president gave positive news about what he has done about the unemployment situation. The president has never said anywhere, this government has never said anywhere that we have sorted out all the unemployment issues. I mean, we are having over 400,000 people getting into the job market every year. So it's going to be tough to solve it. The issue is that you should make an effort of solving it. We are coming from a history where we had an unemployment graduate association. We are coming from a history where nurses and teachers sat at home. Oh yes, I mean, that should tell you that they found themselves somewhere. New ones are getting in, of course. We have YEA that is doing their bit. We have the 1D1F that is doing their bit. The normal employment ways that we have in this country, from the security services to whatever, everybody is doing their bit. Will the problem be solved immediately? No. Are efforts being made to solve it? Yes. Is the NPP's effort that we are doing now to solve it better than what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did in his time? Yes. It is 100 times better. And that is why some of us feel, and will continue to tell Ghanaians, that going back to go and pick up the situation in 2014, 2015, 2016, going back there, no. The presidency is a serious business. Nobody comes here to come and do rewriting. We are moving into the future.
But there's a reason why the Constitution gives you 2 terms.
Well, he should have been able to convince all of us to vote for him, but he was booted out with 1 million votes. We are moving forward. We are moving on to a new future, and that new future is Dr. Bawumia. The president has said what the NPP has done in the last 7 years to make sure that people who want to be employed are employed. We are still putting things in place to make sure that the new ones that are coming in would be employed. Would it solve all the problems? As I said, no. But at least efforts are being made.
He didn't touch on corruption at all.
In relation to
anything. He didn't touch on the fight against corruption at all.
Well, maybe because obviously he is putting the systems that should fight it.
He's done well.
Unless there's a particular situation that he has to deal with, I do not think that the president will be able to touch on every little aspect of our nation. The important things that he believes that he should let us know, he has made us know. If you think that there's something else that should be discussed, we can always discuss it.
Well, I mean, I just thought that, you see, when you're looking at the state of the nation, I think corruption is a very important conversation in
we had that same conversation last year.
Nation.
And the president, if you remember, mentioned the things that he had put in place to make sure we kept corruption. Whether he should have brought it in this particular State of the Nation address, well, that is up to him to decide. These are the things he has decided to bring it in. And they can tell me these things too are not important.
Well,
they are very important.
Okay,